Hello everyone and welcome back to Wrestling Conversations with Harris, where today I'll be talking about the top 5 Bray Wyatt moments. So basically just generally talking about his career, and at the end I'll talk about some of the matches that were, really just sticking out in terms of the highlights of his career. So in terms of the moments, I would say in no particular order. The first one I'll go with is the Fiend, his debut entrance. So I'll put the entrance and the debut reveal together as well. I think a month before that, whatever. I think in 2019 they had a reveal where you had Bray Wyatt, and I think it was in his Firefly Fun House gimmick, wearing a jumper. Basically, all this kids' TV host show, waving and everything, and then you had, in the end, it just basically turned sinister, and you had the Fiend show up with the mask and everything, and then he was basically in his raspy voice singing. Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, so he was singing that, and then which was really creepy, and at the end he went Yowie Wowie, and then that's how it ended. So it was a really good reveal for the Fiend. I remember watching it and it was really, really good. And then we fast forwarded, I think, a few months later, SummerSlam 2019. It was the Fiend versus Finn Balor, the Fiend's debut entrance. Before that, I think he was choking out, mandible clawing Mick Foley, Jerry Lawler, all these legends, and it was very good just appearing behind them. So that was really good. I really enjoyed that. And it was just really good presentation with the lights and everything of the Fiend. I really enjoyed that. It was completely different. So the entrance, it was really, really good at SummerSlam 2019. It was in Canada, I think it was. And basically, when he was making his entrance, you had a bit of a remix on his Wyatt family entrance, and it was just him with the Fiend mask, with like a black towel over his head, just walking with a lantern, and that new lantern was basically his face, and his mouth was just stitched open, and just and the mouth was the lantern, so that the light was coming out of that, and his eyes were stitched shut as well on that lantern. So it was a really grim looking lantern. But yeah, anyway, it was a really good entrance. That I remember, it's one of the, in my opinion, it's one of the most coolest entrances in the last like 5-10 years. It was really one of the best entrances of all time, really, in my opinion. So it was basically him coming down with the lantern, and then at the end he put the lantern down, and then you could just see him hold his head like that, and then just shaking his head, and it was with the Fiend mask on, and then just moved away and taking that black cloth over his head. So it was really, really just bone chilling entrance, and I really, really enjoyed that. And the match with Finn Balor was good. It was what it needed to be for the Fiend. So really good debut entrance for him. The second moment I would say is possibly his greatest, is his first world title win in Elimination Chamber 2017, where you had John Cena defending the world championship against AJ Styles, Bray Wyatt. I think it was The Miz, Baron Corbin, and Dean Ambrose. So you had Bray Wyatt pinning John Cena and then pinning AJ Styles to win his first world title. So that was a really, really good moment. I remember really loving that match. That match was awesome too, and the actual moment of him winning was really good. And I think I would tie in another moment into this, the SmackDown, I think it was after this, where he basically came out, all the crowd was chanting "You deserve it," and he got a really good reception after that. And then basically he was just saying, he grabbed the microphone and he said, "I truly have the whole world in my hands now." So, and I think he said, "Welcome to the era of Wyatt." So that was really, really good when he said that. I have the whole world in my hands now, and then raising the WWE Championship. That was a really, really good moment. So easily, possibly, his best. Number 3, I would say, is the Wyatt family debut. And the original Wyatt family obviously was Luke Harper, Eric Rowan, and Bray Wyatt. Yeah, it's just really sad to see. Out of those 3 originally, it's just Eric Rowan left, Luke Harper and Bray Wyatt left us too soon. But the debut was really good as well. You had them on the Titantron, I think it was, and then him blowing out the lantern saying, "We're here," and then he blew out the lantern, came out, the Wyatt family attacked Kane. So that was a really good moment as well. It got a huge pop, and Kane and Bray Wyatt had that Inferno match as well. I remember SummerSlam 2014. That was alright too, to be honest. So it just really good introduction to the Wyatt family. The original Wyatt family was possibly his best work as well. It was really good stuff. Number 4, I guess you could say it could be a bit controversial. Some people might have not liked it as much, but at the end of the day, no one can deny that it was one of the most creative pieces of brilliance you'll ever see. The Firefly Fun House match. I think it was night 2, WrestleMania 2020. Bray Wyatt as the Fiend. It's not necessarily just the Fiend. It was different iterations of his character versus John Cena, and you just had. I don't even know what it was. It was just really, really different things going on. So many different things going on. You had at one point John Cena coming out in NWO gear. It was like they were all happening inside their heads. So that was really good. In the end, it basically led to Bray Wyatt beating John Cena. I don't know if you actually got the pin, but at the end of the day, it was really one of the most creative matches you'll ever see, I think. So it was completely something different, to anything on the card. And it just goes to show what a creative genius he was. So that was really good. I didn't fully understand it as well, but at the end of the day, I can't deny it was really creative. Number 5, I would say, is the Extreme Rules 2022 White Rabbit Day re-debut, I think, return last year. I think it was in October. So I remember that at the end of the show when Riddle defeated Seth Rollins. After that match, you had Bray Wyatt returning, and that entrance when he returned was really good. He's got the whole wide world in his hands, playing throughout the arena, all dark, and then you had random characters, human form of his puppets in the Firefly Fun House match, just popping up in different spaces in the arena. You had Mercy the Buzzard, Abigail the Witch, you had Huskus the Pig, all of them, and you had a Fiend mask on the. You had the Fiend as well, actually, and then you had in the crowd, and then you had the burnt Fiend mask that got burned in the Randy Orton feud, and that was on the commentary desk. And then you had a door on the ramp way which burst open. Bray Wyatt came out with a mask on, like an Uncle Howdy type mask. I think it was similar to that, and then or it was I think a horror movie came out during that time as well. It was similar to that, I think, that mask. I forgot what horror movie that was, but so basically he revealed his mask and he said the same thing. I think he said, "I'm back," and then blew out the lantern. So that was one of the most just amazing returns, in my opinion. Really, really good stuff from Bray Wyatt. So these, I would say, are his moments. One moment, I think, one or two moments you can say as honorable mentions, or you can put them in as well, is first of all that feud with Undertaker versus Bray Wyatt. It was a huge moment for him at WrestleMania 31, and the match was really good. The match was good as well, and Bray Wyatt just carrying the whole feud on his own. If you remember, the Undertaker did not show up once in that whole feud. It was just Bray Wyatt carrying the whole feud by himself. Him coming out in a coffin and all of the casket and all these things, and just basically challenging the Undertaker himself. So that was a really good stuff, and it just goes to show that he can carry things by himself. He is that big of a star. And a moment that people will replay over and over again is that point he did when, I think it was him and Roman Reigns or some, I think, iteration of that versus the League of Nations in 2016. He hit the Sister Abigail. I forgot who it was on, like either Del Rio or I forgot. And then I think it was Sheamus that came in. I do apologize if I'm getting that wrong. And then Roman Reigns. And then you had, after he hit the Sister Abigail, you had Bray Wyatt point to Roman Reigns. And then Roman Reigns did that spear. So that was really, really good. You had Bray Wyatt basically sort of for the first time ever turning a babyface there. And unfortunately, he did get injured, so we didn't see the team of Roman and Bray. But that would have been a really, really good pairing to going forward. So that was really, really good. So I would say these are the moments that just in my opinion were some of his best in his career, and amongst many others. And before I end this video, I'll quickly talk about some of the matches that he had, some of his best highlights, and in terms of in-ring action. I would say first of all that the two matches that people keep bringing up. The first one is a 6-man tag, which is possibly his best match he was ever in. It was the Wyatt family versus the Shield, Elimination Chamber 2014, and it was just, I remember the first time those two had a face-off, Shield and Wyatt family, the crowd was going crazy, and that match was, in my opinion, is 5 stars. Awesome match. Even though I know that all of them are good, I didn't expect that match to be that good. So overall, I remember watching that match and I was blown away by how amazing it was. I already know it was going to be good, but just everything that they did, I didn't think it was going to be that good. So overall, it was just literally, I don't even think you had a chance to breathe in that match. No one slowed down at all. It was just all action from the get-go. And you had Bray Wyatt pinning Roman Reigns, which is a rare sight these days. But back in the day, even then he didn't get pinned that much. But Bray Wyatt pinning Roman Reigns, 2014, that was really good as well. So overall, really good stuff. And then I think you had them have a match again on Raw. That was also really good, which Bray Wyatt got the pin again. So they were really building him up there too. So amazing match. And then the other match that people will talk about is his best singles match, possibly Bray Wyatt versus Daniel Bryan at Royal Rumble 2014. And if you remember, at the end of 2013, you had Daniel Bryan basically joining the Wyatt family. You had the Wyatt family corrupting him in his brain, and basically, which led to the amazing moment in, I think it was in Providence, Rhode Island, and where a steel cage match between Bray Wyatt and Daniel Bryan, where I think Daniel Bryan got his Wyatt family gear off, and then he doing the yes chants on top of he was doing the yes chants on top of the cage. So that was really good as well. Really good moment, which led to the match, which Bray Wyatt actually won. So some people could talk about that as surprising. So Bray Wyatt beat Daniel Bryan, which was a really good match. You had a Sister Abigail. I think one point he did a dive. Daniel Bryan did a suicide dive. He grabbed him, Sister Abigail, onto the outside on the barricade. And then, so really good match. Back and forth, fast-paced action. So his best singles match, in my opinion, Bray Wyatt. It's really good. Some other matches, I would say Bryan and Fiend, Bray Wyatt had a really good chemistry. One or two of Fiend's best matches were against Daniel Bryan at Survivor Series, and then again the main one I thought was really good was the Fiend versus Daniel Bryan at Royal Rumble 2020 in a strap match. Many people, including me, don't like a strap match that much, but that was one of the best strap matches I've seen. I don't know, maybe I liked it better than most. I think I remember thinking this was a really good strap match, really good. Bryan versus Fiend, and just that's how good Bryan is, that's how good Bray Wyatt is. So, and then one match that I alluded to earlier was the Elimination Chamber match where he won his first world title. That was also an amazing match to cap off an amazing moment of him winning the world title. And one match that I forgot about, and I went back and did some research, and then remembered that Bray Wyatt versus Roman Reigns at Hell in a Cell 2015. That was a really good match as well. People remember Undertaker and Brock Lesnar from that show, Hell in a Cell, but this was also a really good match. Roman and Bray, they basically I remember one spear through the table to Bray Wyatt. That was also a good, good move there. And so I actually forgot about that match, but when you go back and see, he had some really good matches and moments that we forget, sometimes because things are just moving too fast in the wrestling business. So overall, that was also a really good match. And one match I just want to say it got marred by the ending, but it was John Cena versus Bray Wyatt at WrestleMania. Yes, he did, he lost in the end, and people say it sort of stalled his momentum, but some people forget, but that match, I remember rewatching it, and that match was actually really good. Besides the ending, that match, in terms of just the action, was actually a really good match, which not many people remember. They just remember the ending. So that was a good match as well. So people who say, oh, Bray Wyatt can't wrestle, he's just a gimmick. No, he really can wrestle. It's just, in the end of his run, he was focusing more on storytelling and character, which everyone says it's about storytelling and character, right? And it's not about the moves, it's about the character. That's what he was focusing on. So that was really good as well. So he was just a really multi-talented guy. He really was. So he will sorely be missed, and it's just a really sad moment. But that's just life, and time. I guess it just doesn't stop for anyone. So that's just how it is. In terms of so these that will do it, ladies and gentlemen, for the video. His moments and his matches, and I guess over the few days as well, I guess I'll be revisiting watching some of his promos and matches. So he was really a unique character. He really was, and just generally an inspiration for everyone who wants to try something new in their life. I think I read something on an article titled "The Man Who Dared to Be Different." The man who dared to be different, and it's just I can't really describe it in any other way. That's so true. So ladies and gentlemen, that's it. Thank you very much for watching, and the only way I can end this video is by saying thank you, Bray Wyatt.